Hello Southies, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cece and today you are watching another speed build video, and it's been a minute since I have been on YouTube or even been in the game, and I have a lot to talk about. But first let me describe what I'm building. I'm going to throw up a picture of the cottage that you guys helped me choose over on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, same as my YouTube channel, 25th and South. A lot of times I'll throw up possible photos of what I might want to build, and I ask you guys to help me choose. But I really love this cottage. It's so adorable, and I knew it would be maybe not necessarily a challenge, but it wouldn't be easy, mostly because of this front porch area here. As you know, we can't set stairs on a diagonal. So I had to kind of mess with it a little bit. Now, we did get an update just after I started building this house where we have platforms now. And so what I did was I raised the front porch area up using the platform tool. I don't know if you'll see it in this video, but what you see right now isn't staying. I just left it in so you could see kind of how I started, and then you'll be able to see how I finished. But this is a 3-bedroom, I want to say 2 or a bath and a half, because there is a toilet and sink downstairs. But the idea behind this home was it is a spellcaster's home. An aunt and her nephew and niece. Their parents mysteriously died somehow, and the aunt took them in. And my idea would be that the kids don't know that they are spellcasters. They haven't the slightest clue. And the aunt, for whatever reason, is not telling them. She keeps all of her spellcasting things in a shed in the backyard, and the kids are not allowed to go in there. I would say that their relationship with their aunt is a little frosty. She's not the warmest, unlike the mother, which would be her sister. Their mother was very warm and caring, and their aunt just seems a little distant. I don't think she ever expected to have children. I think I gave her the hates children trait. But this is Colleen, the aunt, and then her nephew Vincent and niece Audrey. But yeah, this is the family and this is the home, and I imagine that she in her day job masquerades as an archaeologist. She goes all over the world looking for really ingredients for her potions and things. She might be, I don't know, a potion master of kind, and so she goes all around the world looking for ingredients, but the kids just think she's an archaeologist, so she's got a lot of knickknacks and things from various places, and in reality she's working potions. So I set this build in Glimmerbrook mostly because I thought the picture just looked like it would look like Glimmerbrook to me, and so it just looked like it would fit best here. But as you can see, the interior came together fairly easily. The interior, the floor plan was a lot of work. I really worked on this floor plan a really long time, which made the editing of this video very difficult, but I figured it out and it all works. And if there's things that you see in the build that weren't in the original, it's probably because I went back and changed some stuff. Okay, so let's get back to the reason why it's been so long since I have been on YouTube. And that is because my computer just crapped out on me. I was attempting to stream one day and having a really difficult time. It wasn't working. Everything that I wanted to do wasn't happening, and I just sort of rage quit, and mostly because of Streamlabs. I use Streamlabs because honestly I can't find anything better, but I'm not a fan. Not a fan of Streamlabs. I feel it is not user friendly enough. It is just, it's not easy to use. You put a window box in it, and you can't move anything. Like if you don't know anything about streaming or whatever, then you're not gonna know what I'm talking about. But I just don't find it easy to use. I'm not the most computer, savvy person, but I'm a millennial, so majority of my life I've spent on computers, so I can figure stuff out, but it is so difficult to use that program. I'm constantly having to Google things and Google them twice and watching multiple videos just to do one little thing. And I feel like no software should really take that much effort, especially in these days. It should just be easy. Like a small child should be able to use any real, sort of software that's meant for public use, you know what I mean? But I don't know, maybe I'm just complaining to be complaining. Who knows? But so anyway, I went to download a different kind of streaming software, and something happened to where my sound just completely wigged out, and it affected the driver, the sound drivers in my computer. So, when I tried to fix the problem, I was getting horrible feedback in my speakers, and I couldn't figure out why. And when I finally figured out the problem and tried to fix it, I created a new problem where I couldn't record anything. I couldn't record any audio. And then I couldn't hear when I put my headphone jack in, or my headphones in the headphone jack, I couldn't hear anything. So the only sound coming from the laptop was just the regular speakers. And obviously, I can't do voiceovers if I can't speak into my microphone and if I can't listen in my headphones. I need that, especially if I'm streaming or any of that. So I ended up sending my computer off to the manufacturer. Luckily, it was still covered under warranty, and they determined that it was an issue with the hardware. So they fixed it, and I didn't have to pay anything for it. But that took a few weeks. With COVID and everything, things aren't moving as probably as quickly as they would have normally. So they estimated 3 to 6 weeks. I think I got it back within maybe 2.5 weeks. So it actually moved a little faster than I thought it would. And then, of course, I have a happy full-time job. So by the time my computer did come back, I was working because I work nights. So I was working. And so really this past couple of days have been the first time I've been able to play it. But thankfully, I kind of got it just in time for Snowy Escape. I actually did not purchase Snowy Escape through Origin, which I normally do. I purchased it through a website called CD Keys, and it was about $10 cheaper. So that seems to be a pretty trusted site to purchase game codes from. So obviously not sponsored, but I'll put a link in the description to that website. I think Sims 4 is moving to Steam. I don't know if it's just also on Steam and Origin, but I've saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about how it was moving to Steam. And I think it's because, I don't know. But so if it might be cheaper on there. I do have Steam, but I don't think I even have a single game downloaded from Steam on my computer. I think most of my games come from Origin or Epic Games. But as you can see, I have pretty much done the entire living room. I'm just putting in finishing touches. I built my own bookcase up against the staircase. I didn't want a wall enclosing the staircase. I wanted it to be open to make the room feel a little bit bigger. This room was deceptively small. I felt like it was way bigger than it actually was in the living room, because I kind of wanted it to be somewhat of an open plan with living area and a dining table. But I couldn't fit the dining table quite the way I wanted to. And actually, you'll find I don't have a dining table in this house at all. You'll see later when I do the kitchen, redo the kitchen, that I just made the island a kind of dining table, which I think is something that, at least in modern home design, is something that you'll see. If it's not considered the breakfast table, the island, then you know, where all the seats, or there's seating all around. I've seen that in a few design choices. But now I'm working on the office. This is sort of her front. She's an archaeologist. Ha ha ha. Not really. What I am going to do before I put this on the gallery is put a little bit more clutter in this room. I kind of want it to maintain the idea that she's an archaeologist. I kind of want to clutter it up a little bit more and put more like boxes and things like that. More things from maybe Jungle Adventure in there. Now I'm working on the landscaping. I did not go into debug, and in retrospect, I wish I did, to get more of the Glimmerbrook type of landscaping, like the trees and things, which I might do. You might see them in the screenshots. And the reason why I'm regretting it is because I did not realize when I was building this house that the save file that I'm in right now is in the fall, or just almost about to be in the winter. And so Glimmerbrook, when I went to go take screenshots, was covered in snow. So these happy little trees have no leaves, and everything is covered in snow. And I didn't want to change it because I thought, oh, it looks really pretty in the snow. But none of these plants really survive. Some of them are just covered in snow, and then some of them don't have any leaves on them at all. So they didn't survive. I didn't put actual flowers because I feel like Colleen doesn't really like flowers. I don't think she's an evil person. I just think she's not very personable and isn't very social. She's probably really happy to just kind of be alone and work on her potions. And I did put in some cat stuff, although I didn't actually make a cat for the house, but I did put in like a litter box and a little food thing. So imagine that her familiar would probably be a cat. I don't know if cats and dogs can be familiars. I don't know if you can make them familiars, but you know, in your sort of using your imagination type of gameplay, you can pretend that they are. I lined this little pathway up with these little lanterns. I just thought it was cute. I don't really think it's on brand with who Colleen is, but I don't care. I just thought it was adorable. You can pretend like these are her Christmas decorations or her Winterfest decorations. But yeah, so much has been happening. Obviously, 2020 has been an insane year for many people. And I, for one, will be excited when it is over. Here in the U.S., we've recently had our presidential election, and many millions of us are very excited about the results. Sorry to those of you who aren't. I'm not trying to make this video political, but oh my gosh, it has been crazy. And kind of my hope is that we can kind of just go back to being nice. I mean, not saying that everyone is always nice, but I feel like there used to be a little bit more niceness going on in the world prior to these last 4 years. And so I'm looking forward to hopefully people just being a little bit nicer and being able to have disagreements without it turning into some sort of morality war or whatever. I don't know. I'm tired, you guys. I'm exhausted. I want us to be kind to one another. But yeah, so now I am working on the shed, which is the secret little spellcaster's lair. I will completely furnish this at the end. I kind of forgot about it when I was decorating the rest of the house. I did all the decorating over on Twitch, so a few people saw me over there kind of decorate the interior of the house. And I think when I do that, when I'm on Twitch decorating or doing any kind of building, I take longer. And it's not even because I'm talking to people. I have no idea why I take longer on Twitch, because usually I can do a build like this in a couple of hours, and like the whole build. And I think it took me almost 3 hours just to decorate it. I'm like, it's not that huge. It's not that big of a build, in my opinion. Maybe some people will look at it and say this place is enormous, but I don't think so. 3 bedrooms, a couple of rooms downstairs. There's not even a basement. And I didn't use a single like debug item when I was building this. So I don't know why it took forever. So this little thing here, this is the entrance, and I came up with this idea to put mirrors on the walls of the entrance, and kind of how I was attempting to explain it in the stream was that these are probably some kind of warding for the house. So if you get into the house through the front door and you're not meant to be there, then those mirrors will kind of mess you up and, I don't know, drive you insane or something, like turn you crazy. And so that was kind of my idea for that spot. But yeah, now I'm on the upstairs working on the kids' rooms, and kind of my idea was that prior to moving here, it was probably a very abrupt move. The parents died tragically. Use your imagination how. And Aunt Colleen was contacted by a human sim, and she, using her spell powers, put together these rooms for the kids. And so the kids will show up, and their rooms, or the rooms that they're meant to be staying in, are completely furnished out in a way that they would like. And so all they have are like their bags, their clothes and maybe some knickknacks and stuff. And they're probably confused because I would imagine that it's been a really long time since they have visited their Aunt Colleen and don't really remember her that well. She's not their mother's twin, but they do look very much alike. And so it's probably very eerie for them to be around her because she reminds them so much of their mother, but she doesn't act like their mom. And so this is Colleen's room, and I did actually do something a little different. It might not seem it. This house, as far as style goes, is definitely in my personal wheelhouse. Very eclectic, sort of bohemian type of look. But a room like this, just putting that green on the walls is very opposite from how I kind of do bohemian. I know a lot of bohemian style wall color on walls is a good thing. But I like white. I like white walls. I like neutral walls because you can really play with the furniture and the art and have that be where you get your color from furniture and art and plants and things, and the wall just be kind of a blank canvas. I feel like sometimes when you put color on the wall, you're kind of stuck using a palette that matches with that specific color. So I don't generally, especially in common spaces in my build, put a lot of color on the wall. You might notice, you might not have, but I'll put colors on the walls in bedrooms because I feel like those are such individual spaces that generally you're not going to sway too much from those colors. Your parents might have you a room when you're a baby and a toddler, but once you kind of assert your own style, maybe in your early teen years, and you might be able to convince your parents to let you redecorate your room. Like once you've decorated it that way, or at least in my experience, you very, very rarely change it after that. So mostly because your parents are probably like, I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying for you to change it again. So I like to try to personalize bedrooms as much as I can because I feel like individual style, it's probably not gonna sway. Like, obviously Audrey in this bedroom, when she becomes an adult, will probably not be interested in sleeping in a light purple room, or lilac room, but as a child and a teenager, she might still love it, right? So yeah, this build, it did come together pretty quickly. This isn't a complaint really, but I wish that clutter kind of moved a little differently in the spaces. Like I said, I downloaded Snowy Escape, and there's a cool armchair in there that has a blanket draped over it. Oh man, I wish that we had like the ability for the in-game items to do stuff like that, to put throw pillows or blankets over couches and stuff like that. I know that there's CC that you can use for that. I generally don't build with CC because I want my games to be my builds to be easily available in the gallery, and on the gallery, CC stuff doesn't pop up automatically. You have to filter for it, and then I don't want people to have to go search for CC. With that being said, I did download a lot of Felixander and Harry's CC lately that I definitely want to do a build with. I think I did their kitchen pack and their bathroom pack, and I think there's one more, or their tiny travelers pack, and I think there's one more that I want to download that I want to do a house with and have a CC build just with their stuff. And they make it so easy to go and download their stuff. Like, it's perfectly packaged on their website, and you can either get individual pieces or you can buy everything together. And they are Maxis Match type of stuff. So, okay, as you see on the screen, this is me realizing after I did all of the work of re-downloading everything onto this laptop, because I wiped it thinking that that would help the sound issue, but it didn't. I realized that a few of my packs didn't download, and so you'll see me looking. That was me like discovering all the packs that didn't re-download from Origin, but fear not, they're on here now. Because I was gonna put a washer and dryer in that little nook off the hallway, and so you will see that it will be there. Little washer and dryer set. Because for me, even though not a lot of people like playing with laundry, I do. It's easier to put it in the game instead of leaving it out and someone trying to figure out how to fit it into their build, if that's what they want to do. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to do in the future a CC build using Harry's and Felixander's CC because it's so pretty. Not so much the build stuff, but just their build by decorating stuff. And I'll do the shell of the house, most likely completely with, or CC free. I might use some of the windows from the bathroom pack because they're really cool. But for the most part, I think the exterior will be CC free and the interior will be nothing but CC. And hopefully I have enough to make that happen. I try to do a CC build with Peacemaker stuff, and I didn't download enough stuff to really fill up the house that I wanted to fill it up with. So I might try to do that again and just find some more things. So when I was on stream, someone or a friend, builder Brad, who does a lot of builds, I feel like they have a YouTube channel. If they do, I'll put it in the description below. Mentioned the red shelf CC to help you put things on shelves and surfaces more accurately. I have tried to use that in the past, and it was such a headache. I am such a simple type of person. I don't like things to be complicated. I don't like building to be complicated. I don't like any kind of gaming to be complicated. I want it to be easy the first time. I don't want to have to figure it out or have to like Google how do you do this in order to make it work, because for me, gaming is an escape, and I have a job where I'm constantly having to figure things out and trying to make things work and using my brain to the max all the time. And so when I'm playing a game, I don't want to think. I don't mind necessarily there being some challenge or something in that in a competition wise, but for the most part, I don't think about it. I just want to press the buttons and have things work. And so the red shelf, too complicated for me. And I've heard a couple of big time YouTubers say that as well. And I've seen them maybe use it a little bit, but I've heard them or get rid of it. I've seen a few people get rid of it. So I am not alone in the thinking of it's a complicated piece of CC. All right, so now moving into the kitchen. You might have saw glimpses of it. I tried to cut out as much of the old kitchen before. I don't know what I was doing, what I was smoking, what plane I was on in that original kitchen. It was busy. It made no sense. It didn't go with the house at all. It was ugly, and so I redid it. And I think that this kitchen goes a lot better with the house, although I will admit it looks like a New York style kind of kitchen. And I will just say that, Colleen is a spellcaster, so she can do whatever she wants. And so she probably did model this kitchen after a really pretty apartment that she saw in San Myshuno. But, it is what it is. Okay, and so this is where I was like, I really wanted a big island, but I couldn't put a big island and put a regular table. So instead, I just made the island the table. And so I fit 2 chairs up against on the side. They're not usable. They are usable. Your Sims can sit at it, but they won't put their food down on the island to eat from it. So that's why I say it's not usable. It is. It's just not usable in the way that you want it to. I put down this rug, which is a bit impractical to have the rug underneath the island, but that's how I wanted it set up. And I just go to kind of clutter the kitchen a little bit. And so, yeah, this build, I loved it. It's sort of my comeback build. And it was really nice. I think it probably would have been a little bit more relaxing if I hadn't been doing it on stream. Because when you're streaming, I'm trying to make sure, I keep going back and forth, trying to make sure that I'm paying attention to people who are asking me questions or talking to me in the chat, making sure that the game's not lagging super bad over on Streamlabs, like making sure the music is playing. But for the most part, it was pretty relaxing, a little bit more relaxing than game playing. I did try to gameplay, and I realized that some of my interactions were not working correctly, especially when I get to work, and I was very frustrated. Like, in one of my families, they have a retail store, and they couldn't interact with any of the customers, and it's driving me crazy. And Brad mentioned that get to work and dine out, the social interactions were broken. And I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter talking about the game crashing and breaking, and it's par for the course. Whenever you get a patch update or a new game, or, a new expansion, the game breaks. It's nothing new. It's, every single time, right? Your mods break, the game breaks, and then eventually in a few weeks or so, it gets fixed. So I'm just I did put in a EA help ticket, but I'm just kind of hopeful that they'll fix it in the next patch. And I think in the next patch, we're going to get new skin tones, which I'm super excited about. Something that the community as a whole have really been working towards, something that I am really big on, is representation in the game. And so I think that this is a great step in representation. The next thing I would like to see as far as representation in the game is having more types of Sims, like disabled Sims that are wheelchair bound, or hearing impaired, or visually impaired, that kind of thing. I think that would be cool. And maybe a little bit more cultural stuff. They kind of get really generic with the culture in The Sims 4. And I don't know. I understand why, because this is a game for everybody. But I would love to see cultural representation be a little bit more specific. I feel like cultural representation is always lacking just a little bit. with each time they pull something. But I am coming to the end of the builds, going to the screenshots. If you enjoyed this video, give it a happy little thumbs up. Comment down below, what do you think? And if you haven't already and you want to see more content from me, please subscribe. I try to post every week, and I would love to see you be a part of the Southie family. As always, my name is Cece, and I promise never to break your game. Bye.
Days like these last with one another, with the feeling pass. Would you find out with me if it all starts to crumble? We'll search the pieces for a hope or a mumble. It's not for me to decide if I should be the one by your side. And hope we know when it's better to say goodbye.